And that is actually something of a segue into our show, because Taylor Lautner was in this show credited as Terrible Obnoxious Child in a season 3 episode.
Terrible Obnoxious
Boy.
Good.
He was also the bully inside Dodger's brain. But let's get into the show, because that's like season 3 deep goofs. We'll get to those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Got a lot to cover.
So Duck Dodgers is...
cartoon. Duck Dodgers in the 24th and 1/2 century.
Yes.
Thank you, full title.
Actually, the
Not true.
That's
You're
not
wrong.
true.
You're wrong.
The television show is just called Duck Dodgers. The original cartoon short from 1953 is called Duck Dodgers in the 24th and 1/2 century.
In my heart of hearts, I'm right.
All right.
Yeah. So this cartoon was based off of one short. I kind of thought that they made a couple Duck Dodgers
Me too!
shorts.
I always forget that, and then I look back into it and go, oh yeah, there was just the one. And it had just had that much of staying power, oddly enough. It's such a weird little incidental goof.
Well, the second one, they did make a second one, released in 1980.
That doesn't count.
That's not the same.
It was produced by Jones. It was directed by... Oh, no, produced. Produced by Chuck Jones.
Yeah, that means he was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care.
It was apparently basically the same goddamn thing. A
second time.
Ooh.
What?
There was a thing called Marvin the Martian in the Third Dimension, was a 3D cartoon released in 1996 to select venues, which I assume means Six Flags.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, there was only the one original short, and I guess it left a huge impact, even though it was basically a goof off of a pre-existing series.
That I certainly didn't know anything about. Like the first shitty, like, sci-fi serial corny thing that I remember hearing about was, like, I don't know, Flash Gordon and stuff. Buck Rogers.
That was also an
like...
influence. But they couldn't make a duck pun out of Flash Gordon.
No.
Yeah, but Buck Rogers, I feel like Buck Rogers sounds like a Kmart Flash Gordon, but it could just as easily be the other way around.
It was produced by Warner Brothers, of course, from 2003 to 2005, so that's that era of cartoons. That's the era when all of us were a bunch of dumb children tuning in all the time.
Back when Cartoon Network had very little original programming, so all of it was just fucking... They just put every... That's how I saw, like, every Looney Tune short, like, 10 times over, except for the bad ones that they can't show anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. It's unique as, like, it's unique for a Looney Tunes spin-off modern cartoon in that, like, Bugs is nowhere to be seen.
It feels like they made there was, like, day one,
common.
it was on a whiteboard, it's like, no bugs.
No bugs.
Well, I mean, like Bugs Bunny wasn't in every Looney Tune, and there was even a few, like, there's plenty of Daffy Duck cartoons.
No, I mean from the spin-off shows.
Yeah, I feel like it was on the whiteboard for the Duck Dodgers cartoon.
Right.
It was like, we're not putting Bugs in here. We'll put Fudd, we'll put Sam,
I
put
see...
Mac and goddamn Tosh.
You do not insult my favorite Looney Tunes.
They're
Who are the
funny.
rats? Who are the yeah sure rats?
I like the rats.
forget.
I like those guys.
Those guys
They
are
beat
great.
each other up, they're mean.
That's what's funny. That's what makes Macintosh so out of place among the Looney Tunes, is that they're nice to each other all the time. What is that?
They're a perfectly married couple, and I love and support them. But no, I see the logic of choosing to never ever have Bugs Bunny at the same reason they never put Batman and Teen Titans.
Yeah. They didn't want him to upstage it.
Yeah, this is Daffy's show, and he is very Daffy.
It's mine.
And like it's modern Daffy, but like this is him at like his absolute worst. I think
this is prime Daffy. I love it.
Like he's so terrible that it's crazy how terrible of a person that he is.
It's like Space Jam Daffy cranked to 11.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he was in Looney Tunes Back in Action because nobody watched that.
I think I saw it and don't remember a single goddamn thing.
So the show basically runs with this concept of a Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon-esque Looney Tunes universe. It has the reoccurring character of IQ High, who was the dude who gave out the mission in the original short.
Always wearing those fucking gloves.
Yeah. the eager young space cadet, which is just Porky Pig.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another nice meta touch that I like, is that in the context of this show, like according to the opening credits, like they are playing out the show. Like Daffy Duck is the star actor, and he's playing Duck Dodgers.
I feel like in a sense that's kind of true to form though. Like a lot of classic Merry Melodies, the characters, what we know as characters were themselves playing characters. Look at fucking What's Opera Doc for a prime example, but also the original Duck Dodgers. A lot of that stuff, they were playing roles.
Yeah, like a lot of Looney Tunes, they would like have different occupations or like just be in places they shouldn't be or have jobs, and
or they would have a different name.
It was sketch comedy,
and they make a lot of like fourth wall jokes to that effect in the show.
Yes. This is like I made a tweet about this earlier. Duck Dodgers is like the last traditional, really like classic, like Looney Tunes show in terms of like its writing and what it's doing, but also in a very modern way. Like the Looney Tunes show, like the Looney Tunes show that came out a few years ago, I love the shit out of that, and I'll always defend that. But it is very different.
It's very different. What it is they took all those characters and made them. They put them in a sitcom,
right?
Which worked because it was a well written. It worked most of the time. Let's say, like that show had its stinkers, but its stinky parts. But like it, you are right. It is very, very different to what it really is Looney Tunes. Whereas this was more in line with what Looney Tunes is.
This felt like 3 seasons of the exact same Looney Tunes skit.
Pretty much, yeah. And then sometimes they kind of like.
Sometimes they didn't want to do it again,
so and they were just like, "Let's go to a beach," or
let's do this. We just 3 lines of dialogue, and we can have this whole thing take place in a fake Hawaii or in a fake cowboy land, or we'll do the goddamn EverQuest parody episode that everybody's got to do.
And they also grounded it a lot more than they had any right to do. Like, there's a world here with, like, continuity and, like, characters with motivations and arcs.
There's continuity.
Shut up, Duck Dodgers.
Yeah.
No one told you to do that.
They just undid it in the beginning of the 3rd season, but they did have it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know you have... That's how you know you made it into the big leagues with continuity, if you have to reboot it.
That's because they thought that was their last season, and then they got a... mandate for more, and they're like, okay, whatever.
Whoops.
Who cares? And like other characters are based off of sci-fi references. There's a lot of references in this show.
Yeah, there is.
To stuff that I don't necessarily know, like stuff from the 70s.
And that was what Looney Tunes was. We watched it and laughed at jokes that we had no right laughing at because we didn't get them. I don't know who like fucking Humphrey Bogart was when I was 10. But if it's Rabbit Baby once, it's Rabbit Baby gets.
Yeah. And then so like Yosemite Sam became
a Klingon.
Kachufa Sam.
Kachufa.
Of course, the Klingon Elmer Fudd became the Fudd, like the Borg.
Or the Flood.
Witch Hazel was Lisa the Witch.
I love Witch Hazel too.
Count Blood Count was in there as Count Muerte. Wile E. Coyote was the Predator / Darth Vader in one. Macintosh showed up. Nasty Canasta, which I remembered from Looney Tunes. I just forgot he had a name. Taz showed up. Rocky and Muggsy. And the Crusher. Who's the Crusher?
He was the guy.
Wrestler.
Oh,
he was a wrestler and then the surfer in this one.
Right.
You know that they made 2 different Duck Dodgers Nintendo games before the series came out?
I believe it.
One in 93 and one in 2000 for SNES and N64, respectively. Like, it really goes back to what we're saying. Like, that one goddamn cartoon was a big deal.
It was good. It's funny.
It's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I read that the Mars Rovers, Opportunity and Spirit, their mascots were Duck Dodgers and Marvin the Martian.
That's so cute. Yeah, because was the original Duck Dodgers short the first appearance of Marvin the Martian?
Let me look that up.
Let us see.
Because if so, then that can explain everything.
Yeah.
That's my mom's favorite Looney Tune, Marvin.
Yeah, like Marvin's like in that pantheon of Looney Tunes where there's the people who love him just like love him and like own everything with his face on it, like people who really like Taz.
She had a doll and like with a little gun, and he pressed a button and he said all the stuff like, "Where's my space modulator?"
No, he was a 1948 Bugs cartoon called Hair Devil Hair.
Oh right, where like he put him in a zoo or something. I think there was a video game about that.
That's back when he used to wear a shirt.
Oh yeah, he had a shirt in this one.
Yeah, in this version of Marvin, he's just wearing the like skirt thing.
He's like the Martian
the
Spartan.
And the Chucks.
And the Chucks.
He's a really good design.
Yeah, Marvin's
Who designed him?
And also, the goof with this helmet is great, because he's like a Roman soldier who fought for Mars.
Hence with his skirt, too, is like a very cartoon version.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian's pretty good.
And then, like, in this show, they go even deeper with, like, Mars as a planet is the main enemy against Earth, and we get to see Mars a couple times. And the couple times we visit Mars, like, the citizens are cool looking. They're, like, ancient Roman and also, like, some Egyptian and stuff inspired. And it's kind of funny because everybody is, like, normal people height. He's the only one that's small.
He's just a little. He's a little guy. Yeah, okay, like, Director Chuck Jones. I mean, Chuck Jones, I think, designed Marvin. He wanted someone who was the opposite of Bugs, quiet and soft spoken, but whose actions were incredibly destructive and legitimately dangerous.
That is him. Like, oh no.
I'm going to blow up the Earth. It obstructs my view.
So yeah, he's the main antagonist that Dodgers is always running into.
He's so good in this too. This is the best he's ever been written.
Oh, totally. Like, our dad came over and was like, "Man, it's hard to root for Daffy, but compared to the other people, like, who are assholes, it's, you know, you gotta." And I'm like, "No, Dad, nah. Marvin's cool. Marvin's cool, and Daffy's like, oh boy."
I mean, really, who you're really rooting for is the Martian Space Queen.
Yeah, because she's
her empire.
She's a queen. Again, voiced by Tia Carrere, who voiced Nani and Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, it was phenomenal in this show.
Yeah, it was a very funny character.
Yeah.
Her real name is Rani.
Yeah.
Which I want to, it's bad, but I want to think it's a goof against the theme song, where when it says Duck Dodgers, he's fighting tyranny, and then it shows her, like,
yeah.
That might be the goof.
I hope that's the goof, otherwise it kind of sucks.
I like how Marvin doesn't get a name until, like, the very last episode of Season 2 when they needed a way to distinguish him and called him X2. And then they forgot that he had a name for the rest of Season 3. Because he's just the commander. Speaking of names, Duck Dodger's full name is Duck Edgar Dumas
Aloysius.
All right.
Eogan Dodgers.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Was the whole being defrosted thing part of the original cartoon?
No.
Yeah.
He just showed up and was already Duck Dodgers.
Right.
They wrote that in
Buck
there.
Rogers was.
I don't know. I honestly think they wrote it in there just so they could have him make 20th century references and not have it be anachronistic.
No, that is Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers was in suspended animation for 492 years.
Oh.
He was a World War I vet.
Of course.
And yeah, by aping that, they allowed him to make. I
mean, they did it anyway with other characters.
Yeah,
right.
Allowed him to make pop culture references and also pull whatever musicians the writers really liked.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It's such a crazy spread.
That's the other thing about the show is that they're the guest artists. Or the
Season 3 alone.
Have such crazy people. We've got, like, Tom Jones, who sings the song, has a whole episode about him. And it's mostly just, it's not unusual.
That got stuck in my head. That's been stuck in my head for the past week.
It keeps coming back for me.
Yep.
Yeah. And the song was supposed to be reminiscent of the James Bond film Thunderball theme, and then Dave Mustaine from Megadeth was just there.
Yeah, I like his music, but he's a scumbag. Also, the thing was heart and soul of Megadeth. He's the only consistent member. He fires the rest of the band pretty regularly. He's a real asshole and also a bigot. He sucks.
Great.
Cool.
And I say that as someone who loves Megadeth. Who was the guy in the surf episode?
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Some guy I had also, like Tom Jones, I had never heard of.
It was, was it just a surfer?
No, I think he also did the song for that montage.
Was he a Beach Boy?
Wills?
And then there was that weird, band from the Cowboy episode that just did a number.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure they looked like they were a real band.
They were the Woody's Roundup band.
Woody's Roundup.
Yeah, the only skiffle band anybody knows to book. We need some skiffle. Well, there's the Woody's Roundup guys. What are they actually called? I don't care.
Tim Curry was in an episode, obviously. Lewis Black was in an episode.
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook playing somebody horrible, so it was good casting.
He did have some pretty good jokes.
He did good.
His goofs about what commercials were pretty funny.
Yeah.
His character design he did a good job. Insane.
Yeah, and no, it was good because it was only 11 minutes because he's just exhausting. Oh, Macho Man.
Yeah, ooh, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Delivering one of the best jokes in the whole series, I think.
About
his fucking name, about we've gotten rid of gendered names in the future.
Yeah. and another big thing that this show did was sort of reference other Cartoon Network shows and properties that were contemporary at the time.
So good.
Even Iron Giant, which Turner Times Warner, whatever Warner Brothers owns. Turner, whatever.
I mean, Cartoon Network is why a lot of people know about that movie.
Exactly.
Because they got it for free and just played it nonstop.
And so they were able to reference the Iron Giant, not once, but twice.
I was so shitty and lazy, but I loved it.
I was so surprised that was the third goddamn episode. Because that was the thing I was waiting for. Because that was one of the few... I watched this show and I remembered some pieces of it. I had forgotten most of it. I also don't think I had seen... There's a lot I just have not seen.
Yeah.
But that is what I remember most vividly. And it's still so good.
Yeah.
It's so...
Yep.
It's so ruthlessly, fundamentally mean.
When it does that shot of Duck Dodgers and he's got the Hogarth face with the teeth.
The buck teeth. I love you. And then
even
the way Robato's eyes close. That's the same way that the Giant's eyes close.
It's so cynical and awful. And then there's a Green Lantern episode. There's the famous Samurai Quack episode.
Okay, one by one. Okay, the Green Lantern episode. He just becomes the Green Lantern. And at first, I thought they were going to mention it by name. It's they can get away with this. It's Warner Brothers. No, he's a Green Lantern, and he joins the Corps, and all the, alien characters...
Every single Green Lantern that's shown is canon in the comics.
Yeah.
I knew that they, existed. I don't know any of their names.
Kilowog?
Kilowog, yeah.
Yeah, Kilowog.
Here's the thing. John DiMaggio played Kilowog, and he just played him like it was a real Green Lantern show.
Yeah.
Which was very necessary. It was amazing. Did you catch
poser.
Tooch, who played Hal Jordan at the end?
I did, but I forget. I'm going to need you to remind me live on air.
All right. Keep in mind that this is I believe, the first time that Hal Jordan had ever been animated and voiced. He was in one episode of
wasn't he in Super Friends or something?
I don't think he was in Super Friends. I might be wrong. He was in one DCAU bit for a second when they were playing around with alternate continuity.
Yeah.
I don't know if that predated this or not. It was goddamn Kevin Smith.
Yikes! Fucking shucks.
Here's the thing, though. Kevin Smith could be a Green Lantern because you don't have to be in shape to be a Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's true. But no,
I don't know how the Green Lanterns are so fucking
That Green Lantern cartoon just reminded me that there's 3 or 4 Earth human Green Lanterns All of them suck in comparison to every other alien Green Lantern, except for Guy Gardner.
Jon Stewart's
because Guy Gardner's
good.
a shithead, and I just appreciate that about him. I know nothing else about his character other than he's a shithead, and I'm like, that is objectively more interesting than every other Green Lantern.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing about Jon Stewart. He's a very capable Green Lantern, but because he's like such a Marine, he's a bit dry.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's very boring in the comics.
Yeah, I've heard that he's kind of one note in the comics, probably because there's like so many other more popular Green Lanterns that will get a better writer before him.
Yeah, like he was great in Justice League, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
I just mean like I guess it's my constant crusade to kick humans the fuck out of science fiction as a whole. Get them out of there. I'm not here for them. I can go outside and see them and Pokemon. I don't need either of them in my science fiction.
Unless they're handsome boys piloting mechas, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. A lot of mecha honestly doesn't take place in space.
No, I mean our Voltron boys.
Oh yeah, no, of course, they're fine.
But what if?
But if one of them was an alien, that one would probably be my
What
favorite.
if instead the 5 pilots were Allura and the 4 mice?
I would like some kind of like SD chibi jokey short of that. That sounds like a good time.
So adorable. The episode that stood out the most to me, that I remember the most as a kid, was I'm Gonna Get You, Fat Sucker, the one with the vampire.
I also remember that one.
That
but I remember seeing the name and I'm like, what did they just fucking call me?
That episode is still ridiculous.
Yeah, I called you fat.
Like, the voice that they do for Dodgers.
Alaski's Duck. Okay, it's Joe Alasky voicing Daffy Duck as Duck Dodgers as Igor.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, he was able to do that, like, thing that nobody did before Mel Blanc of the nested voices.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, really funny.
Brushing, stinky piggy teeth. What's the name of that actor who's like the Igor, who like everybody does impressions of?
Oh, I don't know.
That bug-eyed man.
Is he Igor? I feel like they just sound similar. I don't know if he actually played Igor in anything.
Peter Lorre.
Oh,
Peter Lorre. Of course, he talks like this.
Others, like, references, there was, like...
He never played Igor.
I know he didn't.
The Animaniacs were up-ins in one episode. They were, like, the terrible nephews and niece.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a... I guess not deep cut, but it was... I almost didn't catch it.
They weren't doing the exact same voices, especially not McNeil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole episode played out like a direct-to-grocery store bootleg Aladdin.
Yeah. It was weird.
But this was like what we were talking about. Sometimes they didn't want to do space shit anymore.
No.
It was like, okay, let's just do a Daffy and Porky Pig cartoon.
Which is great. Because, man, we haven't even really talked about Eager Young Space Cadet that much. Freaking EYSC.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's the most competent person in the entire show.
He's my favorite. This okay. Alright, let's create a safe space. Let's create a safe inner circle, because we're all friends here. Now, I'm not saying, for sure, that I would fuck Porky Pig.
Okay.
He would treat you right, and he's a nice young man.
Yeah, he's a cute little boy. I loved his outfit when they do the 21 Jump Street episode.
Yeah.
He had like this adorable little boy, his first day of school outfit. He puts up with a lot of shit. Like, this is really great, Porky.
Everybody is on point, because it's like, this is the first time they've ever had to take like one Looney Tune character type and like stretch it for like a ongoing series, and they really did a good job of fleshing them out and giving them a lot more personality, but like building on top of what was already there, and not having to drastically change them, because especially characters like Marvin, like there's not that much to change.
Yeah. Like, Porky, like, it's nice to have him be in, like, one position, because in the cartoons, he, like, every short, he had, like, a new job or something he was doing. This is, like, he's constantly in this terrible, awful, garbage job forever. And it's really funny.
Yeah,
and
I feel like a lot of Porky's original shorts that had Daffy in them were just like, Daffy annoys the fuck out of Porky Pig for 7 minutes.
And just like abuses and uses him.
He's such a great straight man.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And even the stuttering bit, like, sometimes that got to me.
What got to me, I have my own stupid stutter now, I'm going to be self-conscious about it, is when he would abort and say something else.
Yeah, that bit. And sometimes it was really funny.
Frying fried potatoes.
Oh yeah, there was that Porky clone from the diner episode.
I almost said the Good Burger episode.
The Good Burger. Oh boy. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's that Samurai Quack episode, which Gendy did help write, and he also played basically himself, kind of, in, where the premise is great. So Porky, being the wonderful person that he is gonna make Dodgers fresh sushi, and he has to go wash his hands or something, and then Dodgers is just eating all this raw fish unprepared, and then he eats
a fugu.
Yeah, he eats a blowfish that he hits with a baseball bat 1 billion times.
Yeah, because it was that season 3 Simpsons episode. And a real thing. Poorly prepared fugu fish will completely fucking kill you. And that was the excuse they needed to go into a hallucinatory state where he's the Samurai Jack. And
it's again, biting criticism, just so mean, because he's doing the bit where he's walking, making fun of how the show is very slow and very atmospheric, and how Jack spends most of his time walking.
Yeah.
I also love the bit about, just tearing off his gi and fussing his hair.
Yeah. And, Mako's in it, just doing Mako. And he's like, no, we can't, I'm not going to do an impression of Mako. No, we can't go straight to the climax. We need to have an epic stare down first. It's for dramatic pacing. Whatever you say, Kurosawa. And then he rips his skin off because he forgot he ripped the gi off.
Whatever you say, Kurosawa, like no one who watches this show is gonna know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the ones I got.
Yeah,
because I proofread a bunch of papers Nina wrote about Kurosawa movies.
I remember there was a bit where Porky Pig even winked at the camera. I was like,
I don't get this one either.
I don't get this one either, kids.
Yeah.
God. And Happy Cat. I love Happy Cat so much.
I need that as my alarm clock.
You will not defeat me.
Yeah, that bit in the last episode is so good.
I will wake you up forever.
Have you ever had a day where you actually keep snoozing until noon?
Oh yeah.
Where you actually keep hitting the alarm?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
See, that's my problem. I'm still tired enough to go right back to sleep, even though I know I'm not supposed to. But I'm awake enough to fucking flip that bitch over and just shut off the alarm.
Yeah, that one was great. There's a lot of great ones. A lot of the two-parters kind of go to crazy places.
Yeah.
They kind of cover... They do everything. There's a Frankenstein episode, there's a pirate espionage episode, there's a Let's Go Inside the Brain episode, there's some shorts with Marvin the
setup to that Frankenstein episode is ridiculous.
Yes. I love it.
He leaves for a minute. He's house sitting, he leaves for a minute, he comes back up, and oh yeah, all this happened kind of just because I was bored and fucking around in your lab. That's not a real episode. That's not a real story you just told. You didn't do it right.
There's some Marvin the Martian episodes, which Dodgers tells us he needs to have one each season, which he didn't have in season 3. Where he and K9 do a thing, and then K9 has to fucking
I wanted more K9. And more Instant Martians.
Yeah,
I really like the Instant Martians.
I get wanting to use the robot Centurions a lot because, they have they can have dialogue and stuff, which is Michael Dorn talking to himself.
And they can be killed, and they're Michael Dorn.
Oh yeah,
and they had a lot of great
Michael
bits.
Dorn had I feel like he probably did the most voices. Like even leaving out the Centurions, I heard him a lot.
He was that one clunkin in the episode where he went to prison. Oh, guys, I want to be mad at him too.
I love when they buy pants.
Oh God, and they're just floating there with the pants, and he was like, "My pants boys,
my pants sons."
And like the episode, like the episode where it's like Marvin like breaks the fourth wall, but in universe, and they all are like, "Oh man, you guys!" Marvin just talks to him. It's like he thinks people are watching him.
Yeah.
He believes he has an audience.
They're great.
You know who I really liked was in the first episode more when she was able to do this character more. It was Captain Aurora Soleil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where, you know, Duck Dodgers and Star Johnston are competing for the captainy, and just she's doing all this crazy pontificating in this very strange voice that her actor Tisha Terracini Banker has. And apparently she's based off of a Buck Rogers character, Wilma Deering. But God, that pontificate is it was priceless.
Yeah, like she went into like Manic Pixie Dream Girl dimension and just kind of like floated around like, She liked Porky in the end because of course she did.
Yeah. He's great. Give him a smooch on his pig nose.
His little pig snout, which he wants to get reduced. I don't know why, but think it looks fine.
You know. Unattainable standards for pigs.
The show just goes to so many weird places, and like it was actually even in like the first season not unwilling to really subvert its and like go outside of its own parameters.
Yeah, they created a world and a set of rules so that they could break them.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, okay, we're gonna go on space adventures. Nah.
Oh, they do a Zorro episode?
Oh, yeah, the Zorro episode.
Yeah, like that. That was the most egregious one because it's like there was barely anything sci-fi in it, and whenever there was, it almost broke the tone.
Yeah, when they brought out the laser swords.
That was
like,
really good.
Where are all the presents? They screwed off early to go watch reruns of Dragon Ball. Which I hope is original and not Z. But who knows?
Probably Z.
Probably Z.
Yeah, probably Z. There's the biker gang episode. There was the return of Roboto where they did the Legion of Doom in the swamp.
Yeah. That was the other thing. I love that because I love like I mean obviously the Green Lantern one was a whole episode, but I almost prefer the subtler ones that's like even if they weren't owned by Warner Brothers, they probably could have gotten away with making something similar. But like, no, let's just use the Legion of Doom head thing base, and then they just did, and that always kept reminding me of like one of my favorite bits in the Looney Tunes show, when Bugs, like I forget what the setup is. I think Daffy asks Bugs his origin story, and just to be an asshole, Bugs just tells him the origin story of Superman. And they animate a shot-for-shot remake of the origin of the birth of like departure of baby Superman from the 1970s film with the soundtrack and everything. but like they're bunnies.
Yeah.
And then Daffy's just like, "Wow, you're an alien," or something like that, and just like, "No, you idiot, that was Superman." I'm like, they just did that because they could. They just did it because they could, and I love them for it.
I was also just reminded of one of my favorite Cartoon Network, like, interstitial mashup idents, where the Powerpuff Girls raid the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
It's like, it's actually my first exposure to Lex Luthor. Like, it's those blasted Powder Puff Girls. It's Powerpuff. There's no D. Well, there is a D in destroy, as in destroy them. Destroy them!
Anything with the Queen was great, because, like, her whole deal was, like, she's this amazing, regal, powerful, almighty ruler of her entire planet, but she's just infatuated with Duck Dodgers, because she believes he's actually, like, this brilliant genius pilot agent, when he's, like, you know, just the biggest schmuck on the face of the universe.
And then in the second half of the series, even after she's, like, wise to his game, she's still just like, I don't know, there's something about him.
She's like, he's so handsome. Like, when she was like, nah, we can't get married to Marvin, I was so sad. I was like, poor Marvin.
Aww.
Must he lose everything to this awful garbage man who doesn't care, who's stuffing his face with the entire wedding cake at once? Oh.
Them big old shrimp.
Big old shrimp.
That was my favorite running gag.
Oh, Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise were those snake gangsters?
Yeah.
It was apparently a reference to All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I mean, that was just a reference to, like, them, because it's like they were just best friends in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were in a bunch of shit together.
There was, the $6 Million Man episode.
Yeah.
That was like, that is...
Like there was a whole bunch of specific goofs to specifically the $6 Million Man, and I was just like, I only know about these because of, like, I love the 70s and, like, that one episode of the Venture Brothers that also did this and made a whole bunch of specific, like, $1 Million Man references that I only got. I don't even know if I got them. Sometimes I don't get things, but I'll go, like, I assume I know a reference when I see one, so I'll go with this and trust you that you're doing a good callback.
Like, I don't know if he wore a tracksuit.
He did.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
that episode illuminated so much for me. Now I understand Barry's costume in Archer after he becomes a cyborg. It's the same tracksuit. Now I understand that, like, actually a lot of shows did that sound effect reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
Without drawing attention to it.
Metal Gear Solid 5 did that sound effect reference when you punch somebody with your robot arm.
Yeah.
It goes
like...
Yeah, the
It's pretty great.
And I was just like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Like, I kind of know what this is. Not really.
Oh, this is a 22-minuter? All right.
Okay.
Did the guy play it? Oh, he didn't? That's even more surprising, frankly.
I did like the goof. I did kind of like the whole point of it because it's like you expect the $6 Million Man to be the straight man, but like no, he's down to clown.
Yeah, he's so down to
He's
clown.
ready to fuck shit up, and I loved it. It was a really good episode.
Yeah. The $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman in the actual ones are named Steve Austin and Jamie Summers, respectively. Here they were Steve Boston and Jamie Winters.
I just didn't care. Oh,
like
God,
they said Steve Boston, and with my vague memory of the $6 Million Man, I was like, shit, that's his real name, isn't it? No, he was the Cyberganic Man.
The Cyberganic Man.
And then you can't copyright a red tracksuit. And they were probably using a stock sound effect themselves, so that's not copyright. Like that one they skirted, unlike the Green Lantern one.
Yeah, and then the $6 million. There was like an episode where the $6 Million Man fought Bigfoot.
Well, there you go.
And that's like, and apparently it was like a popular thing at the time, and like the whatever network it aired on like hyped it, like coming like this on the next episode of the $6 Million Man, he's gonna like fuck up Bigfoot. And like the nation lost their minds because they only had 3 other channels.
Nobody was fighting Bigfoot on there. It wasn't until, I don't know if it was before or after that come on, Spock, was it Leonard Nimoy did that special on Bigfoot and then maybe kissed Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's
and
my
Jonathan
that's my
wrote
favorite Star Trek.
They in that song they fucked.
He taught Bigfoot about Bilbo Baggins in song.
I like how even though he appeared in like only one episode and then a small cameo in another episode, the writers of the Wikipedia article for Duck Dodgers, the TV show, decided he deserved his own bulletin point under characters on the main page.
What, Steve Boston?
No, Bigfoot.
Oh, Bigfoot, yeah.
Well, because he also, he showed up in there, and then he also had the goof in the last episode.
Yeah.
With Dr.
Maniac.
Dr.
Maniac. I
was
forgot
hearing Dr.
which
Maniac
vague word for insane they used.
Yeah, because they already used Dr. Insano.
Yeah.
Dr. Maniac was... Did you catch who Dr. Maniac was?
That was, because I started noticing the guest stars in the beginning of the credits. It was, Henry Winkler.
Yeah, it was Arthur Fonzarelli. Although I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh shit, that's not Tom Green, is it?
Yeah. It could have been, and I was like, no.
Tom Green would have also been a good get for the game show host.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think you could do both Tom Green and Dane Cook in the same thing.
30 Rock
the TV would smell.
Here's the thing. 30 Rock had James Franco and James Marsden in the same show, and those men look exactly alike. So I don't think there are any rules.
No, all bets are off.
There's also the fact
especially with this show.
The theme show's title, title song, was written by the Flaming Lips.
All right.
What?
Why not?
Okay.
Look, man, it's Warner Brothers. They have so much money, and apparently that around that time they really wanted to put it all into Daffy Duck.
Yeah, I know. I was like, they're dumping a lot of money into this random ass cartoon show that they don't have to dump money into.
I don't know, like,
it's
maybe
not like the kids get it.
I honestly assumed that, like, maybe some of these guest stars, like, I don't know, maybe it was some kind of contract thing, like they did a thing for Warner Brothers, and it was like, I don't know, like this counts as like commercial gig or something like that. You got to do it, or like you owe us a favor.
I guess.
Like, they already had Tom Jones to do this. Like, is Tom Jones, like, is his music deal through Warner Brothers?
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I looked him up. He's Welsh.
Yep.
Yeah, I also knew that. I also looked that up, which is crazy because I could understand everything he was saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
I mean, the only other Welsh singer I can think of is Duffy, who recorded and released Well, 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 which is maybe the worst song I've ever heard in my life. I don't know how she speaks, though. I don't know if it's... Hubie and Bertie are the Yeah, Yeah, Sure, Sure mice.
Oh, yeah. I honestly completely forgot they existed until I saw that episode and went, oh, right, them!
Yeah.
All right, the Yeah, Yeah, Sure, Sure
and
mice.
then I saw their shtick and I was like, oh, right, they're just like the Two Stooges.
Pretty much. It's just the slapping. It's so fast.
So
it's
good.
so classic, like Tex Avery, like flap, 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 flap. Like out of nowhere. It's
According
fun.
to Wiki, they were only in 7 cartoons, back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I guess they don't really have that much.
I mean, they were in.
Shtick.
They were the announcers in Space Jam, which is probably what solidified them for me as a.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think. I was trying to remember what they did in Space Jam.
Oh, I just remembered the goof about the stereo systems in the Wazillion Dollar Duck episode, where the Martians were like, we don't have any of our own cyber-bionic scientists, or any scientists that could design good stereos. It was like a classic stereo with the cinder blocks and the record player. It just exploded.
Oh man.
No wonder I found the vampire episode the funniest, because it was just a silly voice when I was a kid. Because I was like, ow.
What was I doing? Oh yes, I was dancing around like a madman.
That this show's writing is just it's a known type of comedy that I recognize when I see it, but it's just what's is there anything contemporary, is there anything on right now that chomps at this bit at all? Because now that I've rewatched this, I really miss this comedy.
So anybody,
I really miss these comedy stylings.
Have that budget to make those references and stuff.
Well, I mean, making references is one thing. You can say a person's name,
but also the tone of the writing. I know.
Yeah. I just meant the tone.
Right. I don't know.
Because it's all, I don't know. It's
cartoons nowadays are really nice.
it's a lot. Well, I mean, it wasn't even necessary. It's not even necessarily the meanness. It's just the punchlines, the self-awareness, the tongue-in-cheekness. It's got a lot of snark, but sincere snark. Even when they're making fun, they always come right back around with yeah, but we're really stupid too. This show's dumb too.
I don't know. Maybe an adult. Maybe Venture Brothers or something.
No, Venture Brothers is a lot. I mean, it's You know what? No, yeah, I can see the similarities, but obviously it's a lot more. There's a lot more adult jokes and stuff.
Right.
Actually, now that you really say that, that's gotten my gears turning. There's actually a handful of parallels between Duck Dodgers and Venture Brothers in terms of tone and how they balance making fun of the genre they're in, and then simultaneously have moments where they are legitimately that genre, but then also they make rules and then break them all in the same thing. I know a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
So what What was your favorite, like, season?
I feel like season 3 had a lot of really good stuff in it, even though we were at, like, the end and, like, really slam jamming it and getting kind of desperate. And the last couple of episodes, I can't tell if this is me or the show, and I'm like, what? How did we get here? The episode with the mobsters, I feel like we skipped some stuff.
I think I like the last episode of season 3 better than the last episode of season 2 because, like as you said, they intended season 2 to be the finale, and I'm kind of glad that they got an extra season so they could do a better finale, more congruous with the show,
more congruous, much dumber in a delightful way.
Yeah,
way more fitting.
Wonderful. Diamond Boogie was ridiculous, and I loved it.
That was the lady from Clueless, Stacey Dash. That was very Star Trek original series, where there's just a planet that's just a genre. I mean, specifically, it was a Star Trek original series episode, A Piece of the Action. Well, no, it wasn't. Piece of the Action was like 40s gangland. This was 70s blaxploitation cops.
Yeah. This show is very like obviously the original goof is like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers, but this specific show, it's a lot of Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's a good setup for for sci-fi storytelling.
Yeah, because you're just like, well, there's just travel in the galaxy.
My job is to go to planets where weird shit is happening. Oh, surprise, surprise! This is entertainment.
I think this show was something of a successor to the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Totally.
I only ever saw it at, like, when I accidentally woke up at, like, 7:30 in the morning and just happened to check, like, UPN or something.
Because that's the thing, is that its original run was 95 to 2000 on Kids WB.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, Cartoon Network.
I remember the theme song.
I remember just a little bit.
Good jam.
Yeah. I remember Baby Looney Tunes.
Baby Looney Tunes was fun. That was a cute show.
It was just like it was literally like babies.
It was Muppet Babies.
It was Muppet Babies with Looney Tunes. I would watch
and without the imagination bits.
Yeah,
which was actually the best part.
It used to air alongside Hamtaro, so that was my like tiny child block.
Do you guys remember the Baby Looney Tunes episode where Daffy learned to cuss?
Ah, that sounds sick.
Is pretty fun because like they did the SpongeBob thing of like they made a sound effect happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was like it's not there wasn't any like moments. I just really like that premise.
Yeah.
Because Daffy's voice is already really like sometimes you overlook it because you're so used to that being Daffy's voice, but his voice is funny. Like in the episode where he got completely purified.
Oh my god, that's my favorite joke.
And turned into the amazing like super buff version of himself, but he still had the lisp and the little tongue sticking out of his gigantic jaw. It was
actually, that was more of Sylvester I was going. Sylvester's like a sloppier Daffy.
Yeah. Which is a testament to Blank's skill that he had two different lisps.
I think depending on who was like mixing it, sometimes they would pitch him a little bit. But like that's whatever.
Yeah. I don't even think they were in shorts together back in the day.
Nah.
No, probably not.
They're honestly not especially compatible.
Mm-mm.
But like towards the end of my run through of the series of the Dodgers, I found myself starting to like do that thing where I'll like read along with the voices I try to imitate, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fall down this hole. No, not Daffy. I can't have a Daffy Duck. That can't be a thing that I do all fucking day.
The thing with Daffy's
I'm gonna get everything wet.
The thing with Daffy's lisp is that it's very pronounced. But it's actually not so pronounced that it draws attention to itself.
No, it's very concentrated. It's like it's like his tongue as a silencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I think for Sylvester, he did lean into it more, and it was the joke that he was a sloppy spit boy was more of the joke with
suffering succotash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Daffy had your despicable, but
yeah. But, like, I'm pretty sure for Sylvester, they would even animate, like, his just tongue out and, like, spit going everywhere.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like about Daffy's design in this was I don't like when Daffy wears pants, because then his tail kind of looks like a poop that he took in his pants.
He's got a dumpy diaper.
like, I don't know, it just kept throwing me off, like, because he had all these ridiculous costume changes, and he always had that, like, dumpy
that
tail. And Porky's head was... Have they ever drawn Porky's head consistently, like, ever?
Nah.
Yeah.
They can't keep it straight. Every few months he gets it drained and it's different.
Poor Porky.
Because, like, there was a drawing of... I forget what context it was. There was a drawing of Porky Pig in the Duck Dodgers show, and that drawing had different head anatomy than the Young Space Cadet. And I was like, damn it, get it right. Whatever. Remember what Ian Jones Cordy said.
Was it the bit with Egghead, or...
I forget.
Egghead was
it was like a Porky Pig. It was like a Porky Pig logo on something. It might have been a fourth wall joke. I don't know.
Oh, was it on his jacket when he was
Yeah.
Whatever boar something.
Mad Hog or something.
Mad Hog boar.
Wild boar. I don't know. Bad biker name.
I'm looking at this image of Porky from from an old cartoon, wearing just a shirt that's not really buttoned all the way, with like a tiny Daffy, and he's about to stab him to death.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then the dog is like, arr.
The one of or two of the buttons are buttoned, which more so than the Opa jacket highlights that he's like mostly naked.
Oh no, this totally naked. I don't like this.
Oh, I see him naked. I hate this.
Porky needs at least a little stupid jacket.
Oh no. Anyway, we're just Googling shit now, so let's wrap this up. It's a great show. You can get it on iTunes.
The first 2 seasons were released on DVD. The 3rd season was not.
Which is a shame.
What are you
Get it out there.
Yeah, so...
It's probably because the 3rd season wasn't even aired on Cartoon Network, or at least the last bit of it was aired exclusively on Boomerang.
Which is not how that's supposed to work.
Nope!
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely recommend it. There's really nothing like it anymore. It's kind of the last of its kind, effectively. And, everyone in it is great. So check it out.
Yeah.
Do it.